So just the other day, I showed you guys a preview play of our Arizona Cardinals offensive ebook written by T. Davis, using the play close halfback wheel from the shotgun split close formation, a scheme that is very tough to stop using some of the best formations in the game. So if you haven't seen that video, check the description for a link to that video, as well as a link to purchase the ebook, which is going for $11.99. Now today, I'm going to show you a free addition to T. Davis ebook using a play that I came up with that is going to make everything you do in this formation that much tougher to stop. In the ebook, there's a really nice play where we motion the halfback out, just like you see here. So this isn't something that your opponent's going to easily catch on to once he sees the motion of the halfback. There are other plays that we do this with as well. So, every single time that I've run this play, whether it be a league game or a ranked game or even against someone that I knew, they've always commented saying something along the lines of, "Damn, that screenplay is tough to stop." And it is. The more I used it, the more I started to believe that it was the best screenplay in the game. Now, that may not be totally true, but it sure is effective, especially when your opponent has to take into account everything else we're doing from this formation. So as you can see here, we're motioning the halfback out, and the rule of thumb, rule number one, is if the motion halfback is open, take it. It's a quick and easy read, which is of course good because since we're running a screen, our decision making needs to be quick. And another thing to keep in mind is you're going to see a lot of max coverage, meaning the quarterback run is going to be something that we do often and we're going to have success with it. Unfortunately though, because I am an idiot, I deleted all my QB run highlights by accident. No idea how that happened. But I have this addiction of emptying my recycling bin, and of course everything was gone. But you're going to see in some of the clips that taking off with our quarterback is definitely an option, either straight at the middle or behind the linemen that are blocking for the screen as we roll out. Now, as you can see by the play art, as the halfback is in motion, we use a variety of hot routes to keep our opponent off balance. All of them very quick reads. A slant here, an in route there, an out route over there, a hitch route, a drag route, a tight end streak out of the backfield, and to keep them honest, slot streak fades. Now the second read that we make is most likely going to depend on how often we decide to run this play. Initially, RB on the in route is going to be my second read, but if I sense my opponent is trying to lurk the screen, that's when I'm going to focus more on other routes and start mixing and matching. The great thing about running the screen this way is that it's still a screen pass to a player in the backfield, but we create an additional quick read to the opposite side of the field, which is almost forcing our opponent to make a decision on which one to use or defend. Plus, contains, which are typically used to shut down screens, will not be nearly as effective. Our throw is more to the middle of the field, past the line of scrimmage, and the contain will play on the line of scrimmage and to the right. Now, just like regular screens, this is going to do a much better job against zone coverage. It's doable versus man, no doubt. But another thing that I like about this formation is that once the ball is snapped, we can immediately read man or zone without even really thinking about it. All I'm going to do is look to the left side, which is the same area that our first read on the wheel is. If the defenders quickly pull to the inside, which is to the right, then I know it's man coverage. And if they don't, then I know that it's zone. So once I make that split decision on whether or not to throw to the motion wheel, my next read is going to be based off that easily readable man or zone coverage. If it's man, then I'm going to look to a slant or an out route that you're going to see in a minute. If that's not open, I'm just going to continue to drop back and check the screen. And if for some reason that isn't open, there's a good chance that I can roll out and pick up some yards, if I have a nice mobile quarterback, which I personally often do, and just start rolling out. Even with a screen pass, it's easier to gain yards if it's man coverage. Now, if it's zone, the screen is going to be my second read, but checking the slant over the middle quickly before committing to throwing the screen is going to be a wise idea. Now, as you can see here, most of these highlights are definitely against zone coverage. I had a ton of highlights. Like, I'm talking, when it was all said and done, and I went to go count up the clips, I had like 130 clips, so I left a lot out. I don't really know what I missed here. I'm sure there was some examples against man coverage, but actually here is an example against man coverage. So, we still pick up a big chunk of yards. Just a great overall play. Now, as I said, we're going to be dropping back. Now, we're going to get into, and there's another max coverage defense where I easily probably could have taken off with my quarterback right at the middle. But we're going to get into more about dropping back and when we should and when we shouldn't. Oh, and like you just saw, another thing I like to do to throw my opponent off once in a while is put RB, which is usually running the in route on the makeshift screen, on a streak. It works well, and it just means it's another thing that our opponent has to consider, and it's very effective. Now the B receiver, which we're showing now, I absolutely love on a smart routed out route when we need 10 yards for a first. This kills man coverage, just like your typical smart routed out routes that you do when your receiver's lined up out wide. Again, we're going to take a look at the motion running back. We're going to look over. We're going to see if the defenders pull in or out. And if we have them on the smart routed out route and they pull in, we know it's man coverage. So that's when we're going to throw. And even in examples like this right here, where the defender plays inside very tight, we click on and we just press the jump button, and he's going to get that jump animation. And again, here, twice against the Arizona Cardinals, he had really good position, tried to click on, but we're still able to make the play. And I've thrown that many, many times, and I have to tell you, I've never thrown an interception as many times as it looked like I was going to. I was like, eesh. I just never, ever threw an interception. So, of course, we're not going to run the out route every single time that we need 10 yards because our opponent's going to catch on to that. So we're just going to mix up some routes. We're going to put him on a drag. We're going to put him on an in route. We're going to have him on the slot streak fade. We can even actually just leave him on the default route, which is kind of like one of those dig routes, but a little bit deeper. This one's to the inside rather than the outside. We can put him on a hitch route like we see here. That's something I love doing near the end zone. The hitch routes kill man defense, and as you saw there, sit down against zone defense as well. So just really good overall. Out routes, smart routed, in routes, drag routes, hitch routes. I mean, there's so much we can do with this play, and I'm talking with all the receivers, X, A, B. I mean, there's just so many things. Fourth down, no problem. I'm going to run this, and I'm very confident that I'm going to pick up the yards that I need. Just incredibly hard to stop. When it comes to the A receiver, most of the time it's going to be a slant route, and the reason for that is because it's a great route to have as a high-low read with the screen. Our second read, based on what we initially saw, might very well be the screen, but as we look to the screen, we might find the slant running through open space, or maybe our opponent has decided to lurk the screen, so the slant acts as a bailout. Which actually reminds me, one of the things I like about this play is that typically throwing off your back foot means bad news. But on screen passes, you get a little more leeway as long as you're being smart about it. Now, on a smart routed out route or a slot streak fade, we absolutely want to make sure that we're not throwing too much off our back foot because that could lead to disaster. But dropping back on any halfback screen is actually usually beneficial. And on a play like this, where the screen isn't our only option, dropping back while throwing a simple slant, an in route, a drag route, or a hitch route is also not going to hurt us, as we're still going to be able to get the ball to that player accurately. As long as we don't go overboard and run back too crazy at the snap, we're going to be good. And most of all, having a screenplay with so many options as a big part of an offense can annoy the hell out of someone that relies on blitzing to win games. Defenders running free at the quarterback is the whole point of a screen. And if our opponent is trying to blitz us, we're going to welcome that, as we've got quick read after quick read after quick read. And we're just dropping back, avoiding all that pressure. It's going to force someone basically that relies on their blitz game to change their strategy, and that within itself is a win for us. As you can see here, we can also put the A receiver on the smart routed out route when we need 10 yards. So we can just mix and match and just have so much success running this so many different ways. The X receiver, or I guess the square if you're on PS4 like I am in this clip, is the receiver I usually put on a streak fade to clear out room for everything else, and can be open in the seams for a quick pass as well. But of course, I also somehow deleted clips for all my streak fades, but as this video has went on, you've seen plenty of those in my hot routes, and I'm sure you won't have any trouble reading it if the zones drift to the outside. As you can see here, A and B are on streak fades. Perfect against cover 4. Now, mostly you're seeing me throw the drag route here. This one is interesting because almost every time I throw to X on a drag, It's kind of messy, but I like it. It rarely works the way that I want it to, which is falling in behind the blockers, but it picks up yards usually. And the idea here is to pass lead down so that it leads the receiver behind the blockers, and then you can swoop around up the sidelines and pick up yards, like you saw on the first clip. If you want to rewind that, you'll see that I passed lead down, we got in behind the blockers. Otherwise, I'm going to put him on a slant while A is on the out or on the streak fade. I've tried zigs with this receiver, but they just don't work. Basically, it's adjustments on top of adjustments. So because I misplaced some clips, I'm going to head into practice mode for a quick second just to finish off the video and show you guys a couple more options. Okay, so let's go over a couple things that I forgot to mention, as well as some other hot routes. So typically, I've been putting B and A on the smart routed out routes. But we can definitely put X on a smart routed out route. And this is actually a really nice setup that we can use. So we're going to put X on a smart routed out route, A on the slant in, B on a drag, and RB on the makeshift screen. So now the wild card is Y, okay? So basically we have two options. One, which can be kind of interesting because we definitely don't want to put Y on the wheel route. And this is one of the things I failed to mention even when we have A on the smart routed out route, is we can't be motioning this over, okay, and then having him on the route if they're going to interfere. It's one of the things I tend to try to stay away from. So what we can do is two things. Is one, we can kind of fake him out and make it look like we're actually going to go over on the wheel, but he's actually blocking. Then we're going to snap the ball, and we've got our four options. Or what we can do, there's lots of things we can do. We can kind of bring him over here, put him on a streak, and then now it's not going to interfere, and it's going to open up some extra room. We can block him, or we can actually put him on a wheel route and then motion him over here. Because as he's motioning over, right, he's going to get to a certain point where he goes up to the line. So right here, he doesn't know what direction, and then we get half a second, and then we snap the ball, and then maybe, we're able to hit him up the sidelines, depending on if there's any, defender in that area. It's not the greatest option in the world, but it is something. I generally would probably want to put him on the streak or just block. But I really, really do like the combination here. So let's just see. So let's do this. I'm actually just going to block Y, okay, just for fun. And the reads that we can make here to X, A, and B are really, really nice. So we can just hit this drag route over the middle. If it's zone coverage, the slant's good against zone. X is, pretty much it's going to be your man-to-man beater. But, A is going to do good against man. It's also going to do good against zone. We've got the drag slant option. I just hate it when defense lines up like this. We really need to get something better there. Okay, so we'll do that. Oops, I keep forgetting. So yeah, we're just faking them out, right? We're making it look like it's gonna be a wheel route, and then he does that, and then we just fall in behind. We hit the screen pass. Kind of did a terrible job there. Not that it matters. Just in practice mode. It's adjustments on adjustments, like I said, right? There's just so many things that we can do. Really, really quick reads. It's so tough to defend. And it's hard to get the ball off when you're in practice mode because of the block shedding. But that's what I love about this play, is because the block shedding doesn't matter. We're letting them come in free. That's the whole point. Come on in. Come on. Come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. When the kisses are hers and history's coming too. That's the best you're getting. That was absolutely terrible. I should probably just delete that. But you know what? Screw it. And then, we just get the out route there. It's like I said, it's just adjustments on top of adjustments. There's so many people that you play. And, if we were to come out in the close... oops. on, I mean, I don't even know. Let's just, whatever, okay? We come out in a play like this, and we drop back. And we're playing an opponent that is, he's got some really nice blitzes. So we're trying to stand back in the pocket, and he's just coming in fast. We're going to be like dropping back. We're going to be making throws off our back foot. We're going to be making all these mistakes, especially if we're more of a rookie player, right? Because we're playing someone, they got this heat and it's flustering us. Yes, we could, you know, block a running back, but there's a lot of heat out there now where even if you block a running back, they're coming in. So we're dropping back off our back foot. We're throwing interceptions because we're making bad passes. But here, it's a screen pass. We're going to be coming off our back foot. In a sense, like I said, we don't want to be, you know, dropping back too far. Let me actually go to the last play because, you know, the out route took a while to develop. You know, it's not like it's a quick throw, right? I mean, it takes a while. So, yes, I drop back, but it's still, like, see, boom. This is why these formations are so great because, okay, so look at this defender, okay? If you didn't understand what I was talking about earlier in the video, see how he's playing to the outside? The way that we read man or zone is just that quick step right there. You see that? Boom, that's man. You don't even have to think about it. Man defense. This defender out here, boom, man defense. If he plays to the outside, it's zone defense. It's like you don't even have to think about it. You know, as great as they've done, and look at me, I'm taking 5 minutes. I said just a minute in practice mode. Typical me, but they did a great job on making it so you couldn't read man or zone pre-snap, but still when you use formations like this, it's so easy to read man or zone, which is why they're going to be the best formations in the game year after year. The bunches, the snugs, you know, all that kind of stuff is because, boom, man. And look at, like, the ball has barely gotten to my quarterback's hands, and I already know that it's man defense right there. So with that said, do I drop back a ton? Like, look at, how many rushes are coming free, right? Oops, I'm doing a terrible job here. So they're sending 4, and, like, I'm still able to get it off on a 10-yard pass downfield. So, you know, what someone can do is they definitely are going to want to re-blitz their defensive tackle or something, and what that's going to do is, you know, chances are, as long as somebody doesn't pick them up, like this pulling lineman here, is going to come straight down in at the quarterback. So the pressure is going to be a little more intense, but we can drop back for the most part. If we read that it's man, then there's really not that much drop back needed. We just read it and boom, it's out of our hands. If we read that it's zone and we got a slant or whatever, send in that pressure, man. We'll drop back, we'll wait, we'll hit the screen, we'll hit the slant, we'll hit the drag as we're dropping back. It's not a problem. Just be a little more careful on routes like this, because if we play scared and we kind of run back another 5 yards and we throw off our back foot, the ball's going to land over here. Okay? So I just spent an extra 7 minutes in practice mode. God, I'm just brutal. It is what it is, but I'm not going to delete it, and the one reason I'm not going to delete it is because I sang the Three's Company song, and I know you guys are going to love it. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Best screen in the game? Best screen in the game. I don't know. I think so. I think so. I'm sure a lot of people disagree, but I think so. Catch you next time.